God already gave you the power. You just stopped using it. Somewhere along the way, life hit you, disappointment wore you down, and you forgot who you are. You forgot what you carry. You forgot that heaven has already equipped you with what you need to rise, to rebuild, and to become. But that power, it didn't vanish. It just got buried beneath fear, beneath excuses, beneath the lies you started to believe about yourself. And now, God isn't waiting to give you more. He's waiting for you to use what you already have. There's something dangerous about delay. It convinces you that you're not ready when really you're just scared. It tells you you need to get more healing, more resources, more confirmation. But that's not always the truth. Sometimes the truth is you're ready now. You're just afraid to move. But what you don't realize is that courage doesn't come before movement. It comes after. Power doesn't show up when you wait. It shows up when you walk. When you speak, even though your voice shakes, when you show up, even though you feel weak, when you pray, even when your faith feels small, you've been asking for signs, but signs follow action. You want clarity, but clarity often comes in motion. You want to know how it's going to work out before you start, but faith doesn't work like that. Faith isn't about knowing, it's about trusting. It's stepping forward while you're still unsure, and every time you do that, you're unlocking the strength that's already inside of you. Strength that God planted there before the foundation of the world. Strength that doesn't come from your resume, it comes from your identity. See, the world wants you to think you're powerless, that you're stuck, that you're broken beyond repair, but that's a lie. You may be bruised, but you're not broken. You may be tired, but you're not done. What God placed in you cannot be canceled by man, by failure, or by fear. You're not empty, you're distracted, and the moment you stop looking around for validation and start looking within, that's the moment you'll realize you already have what it takes to overcome. You don't need permission to rise. You've already been called. You don't need to wait for the crowd to agree. You weren't built for their approval. You were built for heaven's assignment. You don't need to have it all figured out before you move. You just need to remember that the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. That's not a metaphor, that's reality. Resurrection power is your inheritance, not just for Sunday mornings, but for everyday living. For the job you don't feel strong enough for the family you're trying to hold together, for the calling you keep postponing. It's for that asterisk. The enemy isn't afraid of your potential. He's afraid of you realizing your potential. Because once you know what you carry, once you wake up to who you are, he can't silence you anymore. He can't distract you with fear. He can't make you settle for less. You've got fire in your bones and heaven backing your every step. But you have to stop playing small to keep others comfortable. You have to stop waiting for everything to be perfect. You have to stop looking at your flaws and calling them final. God knew about every flaw when he called you. And still, he said go. You're not meant to survive this season. You're meant to conquer it, not in your own strength, but with the power that's already been given to you. The same power that gives wisdom when you're confused. The same power that gives peace when you're anxious. The same power that gives you words when you don't know what to say. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving while fear is still whispering. And every step you take in obedience silences that fear a little more. You've prayed, you've asked, now it's time to act, to take the first step, to write the first page, to make the call, to apply, to show up. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and now is where power lives. Now is where change begins. Now is when heaven moves. You are not lacking. You are not waiting. You are not unqualified. You've got more in you than you realize. The question is, are you going to use it, or are you going to let it sit dormant another day? Because power unused is power lost. But when you activate it, when you step into it, when you walk like you know who you are, everything starts to shift. You already have what it takes, so stand up, speak up, and move forward. The person you become is hidden in the decisions you repeat. Most people want transformation, but very few are willing to commit to the small, often unseen, choices that build that transformation over time. You don't become powerful by accident. You don't become disciplined overnight. It's not one grand moment of inspiration. It's what you do after the inspiration fades that determines if your life really changes. Every day, you're either building your future or slowly burying it, and it doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing to pray when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's putting your phone down to open your Bible. Sometimes it's walking away from the crowd you used to crave because you know that crowd doesn't speak life anymore. Change isn't something that visits you like a guest. It's something you fight for. It's something you show up for when nobody's clapping for you. See, a lot of people want to be great, but they're not willing to be consistent. But the truth is, greatness isn't loud, it's quiet, it's humble. It's in the secret places where no one's watching, but heaven is taking note. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your disciplines. So, if you've been praying for a breakthrough, if you've been waiting on God to open doors, maybe He's waiting on you to start moving in alignment, because faith isn't passive, faith is active, faith doesn't just believe, faith behaves differently. And if you want your life to look different, your habits have to change first. Stop saying tomorrow, stop waiting for motivation. You don't need a feeling, you need a decision. Motivation fades, but decisions remain. And when you choose discipline over comfort every single day, you're casting votes for the person you are becoming. And eventually, you wake up and realize that you didn't just hope for change, you became it. Don't let the enemy lie to you. Don't let him tell you you're too far gone, too inconsistent, too flawed to start again. That's a trap. What you've done doesn't disqualify you. Staying in it does. The devil doesn't have to destroy you if he can just distract you. And he's clever. He won't use obvious sin. He'll use apathy. He'll use excuses. He'll use "I'll start tomorrow," until you've wasted years waiting for a perfect moment that doesn't exist. But here's the truth. The future is being built today. Right now, with what you're feeding your spirit, with what you're listening to, with what you're saying to yourself. You can't sow seeds of doubt and expect to harvest confidence. You can't feed your flesh and expect your spirit to be strong. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to drift into destiny. You're going to have to fight for it. The gym doesn't feel good the first day. Prayer doesn't always feel powerful when you're tired. Reading truth might feel dry at first when your mind is cluttered. But do it anyway. Why? Because showing up is how change begins, and showing up when it's hard, that's how it's sustained. You're not supposed to feel strong all the time. You're supposed to stay committed when you feel weak. That's what separates those who talk about change from those who become it. So ask yourself, what are you repeating? What thoughts? What habits? What words are you speaking over yourself every day? If you want to know who you're becoming, don't look at your goals. Look at your routines. Every day is a new vote. Every hour is a new opportunity to realign. You're not powerless. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're just one decision away from becoming a different version of yourself. But you have to choose it on purpose, with intention, without applause. You have to stop asking for a new outcome while clinging to old patterns. You have to let go of the comfort that keeps you stuck and embrace the discomfort that leads to growth. And yes, it will cost you, but so does staying the same. Staying the same costs your joy. It costs your purpose. It costs your peace. Growth might hurt, but staying stuck will kill you silently. So choose your hard. Choose to show up. Choose the small decision that no one will see today, but that heaven will multiply tomorrow, because the person you're becoming isn't a product of what you dream, it's a product of what you do daily. You don't need a new life, you need a new mindset. That's where it all starts. People keep asking for new circumstances, new relationships, new platforms, but none of that matters if your mind is still trapped in the same old patterns. You can move to a new city, get a new job, change your appearance, but if your thoughts remain the same, your life will always return to its old shape. Your life doesn't change when things around you shift. It changes when something within you shifts. The reason so many people feel stuck isn't because they lack opportunity, but because they keep entertaining the same thoughts that keep them small. They keep agreeing with lies that were spoken over them years ago, lies that say they're not enough, that they'll always be broken, that their past defines their future, but none of that is true. The truth is, your mind is a battlefield, and if you don't learn to fight there, you'll keep losing everywhere else. This is why you can pray all day, go to church, surround yourself with wise voices, and still feel defeated, because transformation doesn't just happen in your surroundings. It happens in your thinking. Until you break the lies in your head, you'll never fully step into the truth God placed in your spirit. That's why Scripture says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not the renewing of your job, not the renewing of your title, the renewing of your mind. So stop waiting for life to get easier. Stop waiting for people to apologize. Stop waiting for your situation to shift. Start shifting your thoughts. Start changing the narrative you've been rehearsing in your head for years. You're not what they did to you. You're not what you lost. You're not the failure you keep replaying. You are who God says you are, but you'll never live like it until you start thinking like it. You see, some people are imprisoned not by their reality, but by their mentality. They've been so conditioned by fear that even when the door is open, they won't walk out. They've been so familiar with pain that peace feels uncomfortable. They've been lied to so long that truth sounds strange, but the enemy knows something you haven't fully believed yet. He knows that if you ever start thinking like a child of God, he can't control you anymore. And that's why he attacks your mind so hard. He doesn't have to break your body if he can break your belief, because when your mind gives up, your body follows. When your mind surrenders to fear, your future follows. But the reverse is also true. When your mind begins to believe again, when your mind is anchored in truth again, when your mind starts seeing possibilities instead of limitations, then your life begins to align with that truth. Breakthrough always starts in the unseen. You have to begin talking to yourself differently. You have to stop waiting for someone else to validate you and start speaking life over yourself. That's not arrogance, that's warfare. That's how you reclaim your joy. That's how you rebuild your confidence. You take every thought captive and make it obey truth. And when those lies whisper again, you don't just sit there and listen, you respond. You remind your fear who your God is. You remind your doubt what he's already done. You remind your weakness that grace is still sufficient. And no, it won't happen overnight. You're not going to wake up one day with a perfect mindset. But every day, you get to choose what you focus on. Every day, you get to decide whether you're going to replay your pain or remember your purpose. And over time, those small shifts become a new default. A renewed mind doesn't come from one loud moment. It comes from quiet repetition of truth when it's hardest to believe it. You've been asking for a new life. You've been hoping for something to change. But maybe the change starts with what you stop agreeing with. Stop agreeing with fear. Stop agreeing with defeat. Stop agreeing with the version of yourself that was formed in survival mode. You're not there anymore. You've grown, you've healed, you've made it through things you thought would break you, and now it's time to start thinking like it. You don't need a miracle to walk in peace. You need a renewed mind. You don't need the storm to stop to have joy. You need to stop believing that the storm has power over you. Circumstances come and go, but your mind is the gatekeeper of your reality, and when you shift your mindset, your whole life starts to shift with it. So if you really want to change your life, don't wait for something external to rescue you. Start by renewing your internal world. That's where real freedom begins.